Let's look at an actual OET speaking role play scenario and how you should attempt that. So this is the HZeducation.com blog. You can go right here. This is mentioned in the description. And once you go here, you're going to see some really great tips on OET and different exams and English language in general. So we're going to click on my most latest blog here, OET speaking role play card sample. All right, so here you find a direct sample right away. One thing in our YouTube videos and blog is we get it straight to the information, no fluff. Okay, this is a dentistry role play card because with each field you have, whether it's dentistry, physiotherapy, nursing, you get your own role play card if you didn't know that. So this will look at in perspective of a dentist who is attempting the OET speaking test, and you can use the same formula that is mentioned here in all your speaking cards. And we will, in the next few weeks, be uploading different roleplay cards on different scenarios, nursing, dentistry, dietitian, etc. So first we'll look at the two cards that are presented. The first one is presented to the interlocutor, which is your speaker or examiner, which people say he doesn't or she doesn't really examine you, but they're just the actor, okay? And the other, the candidate card, is going to be given to you. So you don't see this one, you just see your own, okay? So the setting is, and again, in our 15-hour OET course, we have mentioned all these things in detail. You got to look at the local dental clinic, the setting, and you see the scenario. So you're dealing with the parent of a 9-year-old boy who has small cavity in one of his teeth. The boy is not present. That means you're talking to the parent, okay? So again, if you're curious about the OET course, link is in the description. You can check all the benefits, features, and reviews, plus the money-back guarantee, where you will get a lot more detail than you would in this video. And we cover multiple tasks and marking scheme in a lot of detail there. Okay, well, let's get started with this one. You have a bunch of tasks in this cue card, or role play card, I should say. First of all, you got to welcome the parent and ask about the purpose of their visit, okay? Then you got to inquire about this and so on. All right, there is the answer. And here is a sample interaction with the interlocutor. The parent is the interlocutor. These are the things that they will probably say or respond to when you are saying your stuff. So we're not going to read the whole thing. You can check it out on the blog. And I'm going to point out things that will give you marks, basically. That's going to be my aim for this video. So the first thing is, in the preparation time, 2 to 3 minutes, you look at these tasks, and if you have any questions, you can ask the interlocutor because there's no deduction for that, and they are there to answer you. A lot of these things you would assume too. It's okay to assume or say just anything random when it comes to medical knowledge. For example, when it says explain treatment options for a cavity, you can say a bunch of just made up stuff in terms of the technical knowledge, because you don't really need any technical knowledge for OET. But we will get started with this intro. Now, how to do intros correctly, can't explain this. It's like a 15-minute explanation. And again, that is detailed in our OET course, which is self-paced. Link again in the description. But what I'm going to tell you is you got to start with a greeting, not how are you. We never say how are you in OET. We say good morning, good afternoon, whatever the time is. Mr. Anderson. It is Mr. Anderson, correct? So you confirm the name. Very important to do that unless the question mentions the name. If the question mentions it, you don't have to do this step. You just start with, let's talk about whatever. Or I hope you're having a good day. Let's get into our whatever. Okay, well, you confirm the name in the scenario, and 80% of the times you have to confirm the name because they don't provide that info. So the person says yes. You say, thank you for confirming. All right, I'm going to tell you things that you're going to get marks on, okay? So response. A lot of people just ignore the response when the interlocutor talks. Why? Because they feel that, like here when the person is saying yes, you're thinking what you have to say next instead of being a human being and in a human way responding like you would in a real conversation. And I've also seen people just say things like, okay, okay, okay. Whenever the interlocutor says something, the follow-up is just okay. That's not good enough to acknowledge. You have to use different things or words to acknowledge different scenarios, which will depend entirely on the answer of the interlocutor. So you cannot make a formula for that, I'm going to say okay, then I'm going to say nice, then I'm going to say interesting. it has to be based on what they're saying. So in this case, I'm going to say thank you for confirming. Then let's look at more responses. I see. Here's the parent gave you some information. You said I see. Then the parent gives more information. You say I understand. Then they say, okay, there's a toothache somewhere. Thank you for letting me know. So you can also see we're changing not only the words, but also the range of words. Like here we have, I appreciate the information. And we are doing this because we want the range of vocabulary, the range of sentence structures. There are marks for that. Once again, you go to I see, thank you for explaining. I appreciate that. I completely understand. Not, well, this is great. So sometimes you just say great. You're welcome in case they're thanking you for something. And a great, again, coming back to this, you could use other adjectives too, wonderful or that's unfortunate. What I'm seeing missing here, it would have been nicer if we also used an adjective. Absolutely, certainly, that is perfectly fine, stuff like that. Of course, it depends. You shouldn't force it, but in this case, probably the person didn't get the chance to do the ly. It would be nice to have that though, because that also adds range. Now let's talk about how things are finishing. There are two types of questions you want to ask, open-ended and closed-ended questions. Open-ended questions are the ones that ask for more information from the patient. Closed-ended would be just yes or no options. So closed-ended would be something like this. It's Mr. Anderson, correct? The answer is yes. And this is a very open-ended question. How can I assist you today? Well, I'm here because here they have to give you multiple details, multiple reasons. It's not a yes or no answer. So a combination of those questions is important. And you can see throughout, we're asking multiple questions about the specific case, about the discomfort, about the dental health, and so on. At the same time, and sorry, by the way, we're asking those questions because the task tells us to ask those questions, so we're not really inventing them. Apart from those questions, these questions are also important. With that said, is there any concern or query you have about the treatment? So you got to keep asking, is this okay? Is this fine? Or do you have any concerns? Do you have any questions? Is that clear? In this case, there was no question asked. And will you be going ahead with the treatment? This is just the final part because the question asked us to confirm if the patient will be going ahead. In this case, there are just so many tasks you have to do. Within 5 minutes, the student who did the sample answer kept on just asking the questions because there were a lot in the task. Some tasks only have 4 to 5 bullet points, and if that is the case, whenever you end your sentences, you can ask things like, will that be okay? Is that fine? Would you mind if I do that? Something like this one as well. How can I assist you today? Instead of this, you can also say, I understand you're going through this today. Am I correct? Or would you mind if we talk further about that? Would you mind giving more details about that, etc.? Okay, so asking multiple questions is important. Once you read this whole thing, you will see the tone is very polite. It is extremely polite. It's just the extra nature of politeness you have to employ here in OET speaking. And we have a list of prompts, once again in our course. Those prompts tell you what you have to say in terms of being polite. Again, I appreciate that. Would you mind that? Would it be possible to? And so on. It's almost like a guide, a template that you can follow in OET speaking. And you can check that out in the description. There's also some links that are provided in each blog with OET, with CELPIP, with English classes, and so on. So you can always check out this great content right here. And if you do like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. We're going to be uploading next week some OET tests that you can practice right here on YouTube. Thank you guys. Take care.